Brilliant. Thank you, Phil. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, we can. Yes.
Perfect. I'm just going to share my screen if you can confirm if you can see that okay.
Perfect. Yeah,
And I'm not sure, is the chat active? I'm not sure if people can post on there.
it is. Yes.
Oh, brilliant. I'm not sure I can see the answers, but I'll still kind of improvise as we go on. I might be able to. Well, yeah, thank you for the introduction and good afternoon, everybody. Really big pleasure to be here today. The session is this very short session is all about promoting well-being and happiness in online teaching and learning. There's an optional check-in to get us started. So this is a cat scale. How are you feeling today? So you can choose any of those 9 cats. Completely optional, but if you want to add in which one would you choose, how are you feeling today? Feel free to add why as well, and bonus points if you can find an alternative cat. Feel free to choose an online one or even yeah, picture of your own cat maybe if it's summarized. We've got a lot of 6 and 7s coming in. Okay, that's quite good, bit of a mix. Yeah, loads of interesting ones. Brilliant. Okay. A couple of people have gone for 9. Yeah, don't blame you there. Okay, yeah, right mix here. Brilliant. There is a reason for asking you this question, of course. Let's have a look. So we've also got another 6, so taking part in this webinar. Excellent. Someone says longing for 5. Yes, absolutely agree. Number 1, holiday mood. Yeah, brilliant. We've got a few 9s and 8s as well. Oh, quite a big variety. Okay. So yeah, I'll move on. Feel free to keep adding those answers in. So really quick introduction. So my name's Jamie. Really great to be here today. I work as an academic developer at Anglia Ruskin University in the UK. I'm very lucky to work with a diverse range of staff across the university. I previously taught in FE and HE, and really saw the importance of this topic, especially since we started to teach more and more online, really. I first attended a webinar back in January 2021. Phil, I don't know whether that was one of the first ones you did, but I've been attending ever since, and it's a real pleasure to present at one today. And yeah, feel free to comment and reflect throughout. Really quick outline of the session. So it's focusing on the practical tips and ideas to promote happiness and well-being in teaching and learning. We've got some brilliant gifts as well coming into the chat. These are all aimed at teaching and learning online, but they can definitely be applied for face-to-face context. And if anyone's involved in distance or asynchronous teaching and learning, then some of these tips should help as well. A really quick overview into kind of why this topic's important, or maybe why I've chosen this topic, is so you can see a few kind of facts here. So support for mental health and well-being closely correlated to student satisfaction. Mental health and emotional well-being, the number 1 reason for leaving university. Developing friendships, the number 1 reason to help a sense of belonging. And I think that combination of that proactive approach and reactive support is needed. And I wanted to kind of say this caveat: well-being's everybody's responsibility. This isn't to say these are all things you should be doing as a teacher or lecturer if that's your role. It's, you know, the whole institutions. It's everybody's responsibility. And one other kind of little caveat is I'd say these ideas are, I wouldn't necessarily say they're best practice. I'd say it's my practice, and a lot of these ideas might not work in every single context. So we're gonna get started. So firstly, I thought I'd show you this, which is something called the coat of arms, and it's a bit of an icebreaker activity. And basically, it's a template. I'm happy to send it to anybody. And it has 4 sections. It has a short introduction. You have some hobbies and talents. You put your greatest achievements and then some goals as well. So something you'd maybe like to achieve by the end of the course. So I've given an example of one I added on here as well. So you might be wondering what would be kind of the purpose of this coat of arms, and you can see here this is an example from one of my courses. So it was kind of as an icebreaker task, and when I hear the word icebreaker, I usually recoil in kind of horror. You know, I don't really like the word as much, so I kind of call it a getting to know each other task. But what it essentially is, people can add their coat of arms in their own time, maybe after one of the first sessions, and then people can comment and get to know each other a little bit. So it's a really good way to the group to start getting to know each other and really to start building that sense of community. So you can see here, I was really blown away by people adding their responses, and then people commenting underneath, and it was so kind of positive and inspirational. So this kind of goes on to our first tip, which is building a community. So to help foster that sense of belonging, to enable those connections to form, and really encouraging all that collaboration and interaction as well. So icebreakers, like I said, I've tried and tested quite a few of these, and I found the coat of arms is a really good one, but also something called human bingo, which is one maybe for face-to-face teaching and learning, but a really good fun where you have to find people who match particular statements. But you might also ask different questions. So what was one thing that made you smile in the last week? Or posting a GIF emoji, or obviously the cat scale, which we used at the beginning, but also polling through the physical environment as well. I found this is a really good way to for especially online teaching and learning. So this one here, I'll just stop sharing my screen for oh, actually no, I'll leave it on, but it's basically where you find an object. So feel free to do this at home. I don't think I can see many cameras, or you might not be able to turn them on, but feel free to still join in if you want to. So you find a light object and a dark object, so anything nearby. So I've just got my mobile phone, and I've just got a coffee cup from earlier. And then you can hold up your object to vote. So if I said, are you a morning or evening person, you would hold up the lighter object to vote for morning. And you could hold up the darker object to vote for evening. You could do the same for tea and coffee, for example. And again, something like this, it brings a bit more of a humanistic element into polling. And I found it works really well online. And again, just builds that sense of community and gets people to see each other. And again, students can see that other students are online and engaging. And I'm sure we've all been in situations where nobody has their camera on, and it can feel a little bit lonely for us as well. Active and collaborative learning, another really key part of building a community. So encouraging group work, games, breakout rooms, collaborative documents or carouseling. So changing kind of groups round so students can work with other students. And then sharing and celebrating achievements and gratitude. So something, for example, what's one thing you've achieved in the last year? I came across this website earlier today called the Forest of Thanks, where you can upload a tree. And you can kind of put all the things you're grateful for, and I thought, oh, that'd be such a brilliant thing to do kind of during a course. Okay, so we're going to go on straight on to number 2, so fostering a supportive culture. So here we've got about talking about health and well-being, promoting a culture of openness and reaching out alongside a healthy lifestyle, so really promoting that work-life balance, offering support or maybe virtual office hours. And from speaking to some of my students in the past, just knowing that is an option. People might not necessarily take you up on those, but just knowing it's an option that they can come in and talk to you is sometimes a really big relief. And also just checking in, one-to-ones, kind of personalized emails. All these things can have it might seem quite small, but can have a really big impact. And then emphasizing collaboration rather than competition. And there's a really good article, and this is just a really quick quote from there. Students are already facing a horrendous employment market. Combine that with the feeling you're constantly in competition with fellow students, and that's a recipe for anxiety, undue stress, and loneliness. Feeling constantly as though you are not good enough is heartbreaking and a vicious cycle that we as a society must put a stop to. We are good enough. So I thought that was a really powerful quote there. And again, just a reminder to focus on that collaboration side. Right, tip number 3, wider support. So we're going to go on to peer mentoring and support. So University of Manchester have student wellbeing champions. I thought that was a really great initiative, but also having that unstructured time and space. So you might want to think about having virtual study rooms where people can talk, having kind of things like cake and chat, or other virtual spaces. This is something we have in my team in Angular Learning and Teaching. So we have Teams channels for different things. So we have people posting kind of their pets or what's going on and recipes. And again, it's just a really nice thing we do, and it does help you get to know people, and again, just make you feel a bit more part of the community. Also referring and signposting, so just having a little bit of research about what services and support are available at your institution. So just finding out about kind of what funds are available, maybe if there's counselling as an option or self-help guides, and also sharing those resources as well. So there's so many brilliant wellbeing apps and articles and websites, and I could talk a lot about those. But just sharing some resources can be really good.
Got about a minute left.
Perfect, thank you. So I'll whiz through these last ones. So tip 4, digital wellbeing, talking about learning away from the screen. So having opportunities for audio feedback, podcasts, voice notes, peripatetic learning as well. So having walking seminars. This could be synchronous or asynchronous, just opportunities for learning away from the screen. And then flexibility and adaptation. So having breaks, supporting individuals, encouraging those cameras and monitoring those digital habits as well. And then finally, looking after yourself. So this is a really important one. If you don't mind posting on the chat very briefly, what's one thing which has supported your own well-being in the last year? I'd be really interested to hear what's helped for you. But also being self-kind, having that healthy work-life balance. And another really good recommendation is this time for focus called the Pomodoro technique. So you set a timer for 25 minutes and then you work until it's up, take a 5-minute break and repeat the whole process. 5 further resources there. I know I'm just about hit time, so I won't go too much into them, but they'll be available afterwards as well. There's a really good podcast and some previous digitally enhanced webinars on there as well. And just a really big thank you for taking part today. Please feel free again to share what you'll take away and if there's any kind of further tips as well. And I can see some brilliant comments coming in. Things like yoga, running, garden, meditation, sleep. Yeah, fantastic. And yeah, really, really great to hear about these things as well. Right. And finally, yeah, if you want to discuss anything from this session, please do feel free to get in touch using those contact details below. And Phil, I'll hand back to you.
Thank you, Jamie. I love these presentations. They're so good. That was brilliant. Well done. And such a good topic as well. So I'm so pleased that we finally got you on after all of this time. I had a question, if that's okay. And I did write it down. Where did I put it? Here it is. So you mentioned peripatetic learning. I think that's really interesting. And creating opportunities away from the screen, so learning opportunities. I was just wondering if you could maybe expand on that or maybe give an example of how you might be able to do that in practice.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, that's a really interesting area, something I'm really interested in kind of doing some further research on. So something we've recently tried out is a walking seminar and kind of setting challenges to do during a walk. So we've kind of had to be quite creative, and these can be contextualized to different subject areas as well. But it's just trying to encourage that kind of time away from the screen. So something we've done recently and some colleagues might be attending this week. It's the Global Festival of Active Learning. Is having a kind of a walking challenge. So it's a challenge you can do just going for a kind of a short walk each day, kind of taking a photo or doing some drawing or problem solving or listening to like a podcast or something. So again, it can all be related to a subject area, but it's just creating those opportunities for that time away from the screen.
That's brilliant. Thank you. We have got about a minute left. If anyone has a quick question, if they could just quickly put their hand up, you could ask Jamie or feel free to stick it in the chat if not. But we would certainly, Jamie, if it's okay with you, we'd love to share some of these resources you put up on the screen with everyone after the event as well. I think Cheryl has her hand up. Cheryl, can you unmute yourself?
Hello. Yeah, I was just interested to ask Jamie, do you think that students have now got digital fatigue? Do we all need a break?
Yeah, hi Cheryl. Yeah, well, I definitely would agree. Yeah, absolutely. I think it's really just trying to find that balance. I mean, there's so many brilliant tools and digital platforms out there now and so many opportunities for that. But I think sometimes we might almost overdo it a little bit. And it's just kind of thinking of, yeah, exactly like you said, ways to kind of help that digital fatigue and creating those opportunities away. So even things like audio feedback or just ways we can kind of do things more on the move, because I know myself, sometimes I can be in meetings all day and I can be sat down for 8 to 10 hours, and I'll feel kind of exhausted by just kind of looking at a screen. And I think, you know, my students must feel the same, and some of my colleagues. So I think, yeah, it's a really, really good point, and just trying to think of alternatives there.
Brilliant, thank you. I'm so sorry, we could carry on talking about this for hours. I know it's but in the interest of keeping time, we're going to have to move on. But thank you, Jamie. That was a really good start to the webinar. So thank you.